welcome to the Mastering Social Media for Schools podcast. It's Andrea, and I'm really excited because today Melissa Marti from our team here at Social School for EDU is on to talk all about summer content, some summer ideas. We've got a brand new little download for you to grab. We've actually got a contest today, so listen in because we want you to get a chance to win some prizes. We're going to be just talking about, what should be posted over the summer, how often, and giving you some really great ideas. We're going to be talking about UGC, user generated content, and how that can be the magic behind having plenty of things to celebrate. So I'm very excited. Melissa is our director of membership. She also manages social media for 2 school districts on our team. I manage social media for 1 district, still New Auburn. So we're in the trenches with you. So this is a great reminder for us to get excited about summer, get some things planned out, and get some awesome engagement. So before we get into this week's K-12 PR tip, which basically this whole podcast is about tips, so really you don't need a separate one, but we will because, it's what we do here. Have you left a review for this podcast? This podcast is reaching thousands and thousands. We're aiming in on our 100,000th download. This podcast has been going on for over 5 years, if you can believe it. Weekly show, 5 years, haven't missed a Monday. Okay. Love this show. I love talking to people all over really the world on what's working for school social media. One way that you can help us reach even more people, which is our goal, is to leave a review. Those reviews really help tell Apple or wherever you listen to, Spotify, it says, hey, this podcast is good. And so we would really hope we earn a 4 or 5 star review, but just leave an honest review. Okay. Just once you've gotten done, maybe with whatever you have to do, graduation that's coming up or whatever, will you please just take a few minutes and leave a review on this podcast? I would be so very, very grateful. All right, let's get to this week's K-12 PR tip. All right, my new K-12 PR tip for this week is, what new AI tool are you going to use and learn this next month? Okay, summer is coming. It is a little bit different of a cadence, a work cadence, but most of you are working during the summer. There's a little less distraction. What if you took 30 minutes each week to just devote yourself to checking out a new AI tool, maybe watching a little video of how you can use it in your work, and see what happens. Okay. We have to push ourselves to continue to get better and more efficient and more creative and all of these things. And AI is actually a great tool to be able to do that. So that is my tip for this week, is just let's look at carving out just 30 minutes out of a whole week. And each week this summer, checking out a new AI tool. And maybe each week you're going to spend it on the same AI tool because, hey, you're really learning how to use it. But then actually start incorporating it throughout your week, throughout your work, and watch what happens. If you learn a new tip, a great new AI tool, I hope that you'll come back and tell me about it because I am all ears. I want to continue to learn. So that is this week's K-12 PR tip. Now let's jump into summer content with Melissa Marti. Welcome to the podcast, Melissa Marti. How are you?
I am great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm really good. If people are watching on YouTube right now, you might think that you are watching an episode of like a sequel to Top Gun because we have our sunglasses on because we're talking all about summer content today.
That's awesome.
We're styling, and then Melissa looks like she's an angel because she's got some sun coming in from behind her. Melissa, if they don't know who you are, share a little bit of your background and your role here at Social School for EDU.
All right. Well, I've been working with Andrea and Social School for EDU since 2018. I think in the fall I joined. I am a former educator. I taught high school math and English and stopped when I started having babies so I could be home with them. So this job has been a really great way for me to still stay involved in the education world, working with, students indirectly, but staff for sure, while also having the flexibility to raise a family at home. So currently I am the director of membership for the company. So I run our membership program. I am in charge of, keeping things organized and the discussion going. And then I also manage social media for two school districts through Social School for EDU. So I have a district in Minnesota and one in Wisconsin. So I'm doing that on the daily basis as well.
So you're in the trenches,
In
and
the
then you
trenches.
just do a phenomenal job of taking care of our group. I think one of the best things is now that we're doing our work sessions, which we'll do a work session on summer content in our membership group. But Melissa always puts together these dynamite resources with all these links to ideas, plus a handy dandy checklist, which I know you all love. So, Melissa, I really appreciate that.
That's awesome. And I have it up on my other screen and I'm working on it because our session is May 20th.
Okay,
So coming up
awesome.
soon.
Well, I'm going to take my sunglasses off. You can sure
All
keep
right.
yours
I can
on if you
swap out.
want, but I got to be able to see. I don't need my glasses to see close up. That's why in these podcast episodes, if you watch me, I never have my glasses on, but if you ever see me speak, I do because I need them to see far away. But anyways, many of our listeners are getting ready to plan some summer content, and it's kind of a common struggle because there's a little bit less activity happening. And sometimes we like deserve to take a little break too. So I want to talk about just first of all, a little more in depth of that work session that's coming up in our membership group. What does a work session look like and, kind of what takes place?
All right, so we set aside an hour and we do these, we try it for monthly, and we have a specific goal for the day. So, like Andrea said, we'll have a checklist with some ideas and resources linked. We'll take the first 15 minutes and we'll talk about ideas or what worked well last year, what questions we have. So, if we're talking about summer planning, we'll share some links that people have done in the past. And then we're quiet, or we try to be quiet. Andrea likes to talk. So there's usually some talking happening, but we're quiet for, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and we actually get something done. So for our summer planning one, maybe that's batching out a feature that's easy to batch out, like a Throwback Thursday or question of the week, a staff feature. Um, or we use that time to prep for something bigger. So reaching out to alumni if you're going to do an alumni feature this summer, things like that. And then we come back at the end to wrap it all up and share what we did, what we still need to work on, what resources would be helpful to have. So that's an hour.
Yeah. And I love it because, like, the ideas that we have, and obviously we've been running our membership group for now like 5 years. So we've got a lot of ideas in there, but people always take the ideas and they make them just a little bit better, right? Or they put a
Yep.
little twist on it that they know is going to work really well for their school or school district. And so it's really fun to be able to talk through it and be able to ask questions because sometimes you're like, okay, but I don't get how would you make this happen or whatever. And it's not only, you and I in there to help, but all of the people that are active. And sometimes there's 20 of us, sometimes there's 50 of us. It just depends. But you're really able to have a sounding board and then a little bit of incentive of just, hey, let's get together and get some work done.
And a lot of times, if someone shares a really great idea that they have a Canva template for, or a Google form for, or something like that, they're sharing those links out too in the meetings so that others can just grab those and go.
Yeah, I really like that because we all need a little bit of help, and we can't gift you time, but if you can make that hour, and by the way, we record it, so we'd love for you to be live because then you can share, but we also record that work session, so if you can't join live, you can watch it later, and so even if let's just say we're getting ready for summer and we haven't had that work session, you could look back to last year's work
Mhm.
session because some of these work sessions we do every single year. So, people might be asking, like, how often should I post in the summer? What would be your answer to that, Melissa?
I would say 3 times a week would be a minimum. That's what we shoot for with the districts that we manage. At minimum is 3 times a week, which is really easy to do if you have a couple features that you do regularly. A Throwback Thursday every week, a question of the week every week. That's two right there. And then you only need one more like facilities update or a picture of your custodial crew or your secretaries unboxing new materials or something like that. So 3 a week, I think, should be doable for everybody. I mean, once a day is awesome if you can get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been
Or once
easy
a day. Did I say once a
once a
week?
day. Yeah.
Once a day. Yeah.
I've been able to do that pretty easily with New Auburn. And remember, we've got 285 students. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's not very big school. But even 3 times a week, you should feel really great about that. If you have summer school, make sure you're communicating with your summer school staff. Okay. It might be a little bit different staff than normal. So just make it really clear, how do they get content into you? And if it's funny because we do, I don't know if your schools do this, Melissa, swimming lessons as part of summer school. So we don't have a pool,
No, we
but we
don't.
go to a nearby town, and we just recently did question of the week. And we asked kids what they love most about summer school. Like pretty much everybody said swimming. And we do get some great pictures of swimming. And in those cases, it's like, hey, I'll post 1, 2, or 3 times a week just about the swimming because,
Hmm.
hey, it's fun. So don't be afraid to share those stories out there. But yeah, you definitely want to let your summer school staff know to get stories into you.
There's a
Uh,
lot of great community education happening in the summer too.
yeah, absolutely. And in summer, there are some reminders that need to go up that actually
Sure.
do really, really well. I know when we put out the school supply list, it's
Yep.
like share, 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 share. And they want it earlier and earlier. It used to be like, August
Hmm.
1st. I mean, most of our schools up here in the Midwest start, around August 25th or whatever. Now it's like they want it like the last week of June. They want to start
Yep.
school shopping.
School calendars always get a ton of shares too. And that's
Yeah.
one that, not everyone sees everything that you post every time you post it. So that's something you could post a couple different times
Yeah.
just so followers have a chance of seeing it.
Definitely. And it could be a link to the calendar. One time it could just be, did you miss it? One time it might be a video of saying, hey, our calendar is out there. Make sure to take a look. So remember, just kind of spicing up the
Mhm.
way that you're sharing things, because if you share the same exact graphic, the same exact way, 3 weeks in a row, you might not get a lot of reach with all those, but if you can change it up just a little bit, that'll be great. We actually have a brand new little PDF sheet of
It's awesome.
25 social media post ideas for summer, and you can download that now. It is in the show notes. Okay, and so this is a really great checklist to go through. But I wanted us, Melissa, to maybe talk about a few of these and just share some of your best ideas that you've seen some schools do. So, are there some favorites as far as what you've been able to see, for either schools you manage or maybe schools in our membership group?
Yeah, for sure. I think my favorites, if you're looking for something that you can do over and over and over throughout the summer, I love the summer reading challenges. I love having a different challenge every week. You post it on Monday. You're challenging your followers this week to read outside. And next week, you're going to challenge them to read a funny book. And the next week, you're going to challenge them to read, with a stuffed animal friend or something like that. And then you can open up your photo comments. It's easier than having them send you the photos. And then everyone who enters for that week gets entered into a drawing for some school swag or something like that. You could do one big prize at the end of the summer. You could do it weekly, however you choose to do it. But I like that a lot. It gives people, a way to stay engaged in reading, which we all want to have happen during the summer. And that's another post each week that hopefully will get a lot of engagement as families add their photos.
I love
So
that one
that's what
too. I love that one too, Melissa, because you could plan that. You could schedule that out.
right now you could do it today.
Right.
Well,
And
I mean, 28 days or whatever Meta lets you have, but you can save it in your drafts or, schedule it as far as you can and then bump it out as the summer goes on.
yeah, what would you suggest as far as what would that initial like if you did it on Monday, whatever day of the week you
Mhm.
did, your challenge for the week, what would be a couple examples of how you do that post? What would the text look like maybe just in brief, and then what would the image look like?
Well, I mean, you don't have to have an image. You could use the colored background on Facebook, right? And you
Yep,
could just have it be like, summer reading challenge this week, post a photo of you or your child reading with a stuffed animal. I
yep.
mean, that would fit into the colored background. It's not too long. And if you're not a district who uses the colored background often, that would stand out on its own. If you are going to create a graphic for it, I love using like pictures of the kids. So I would go back through old Facebook photos and try to find pictures of kids reading
Yeah.
Or if it's something that you did, last summer or over Christmas break or something, you could pull those pictures too. But I honestly would probably just use the colored background.
Yeah, make it easy, you guys.
Make
It's
it easy.
okay. And sometimes because that looks different than everything else, it pops out and people
Mhm.
recognize it. I just like to encourage people if you get some good photos, and if you're not comfortable with opening up photos, we can include the link of how to do that in Facebook. It's very easy. Okay, so I'll add that link. But once you get, you could have them email in pictures if you're not comfortable with that. But once you get the pictures, even if they're in the comments or if they're emailed, it might be great to be able to, by the end of the week, put it into a little video reel or post
Mhm.
just the images on Facebook and Instagram or other channels that you're on. Because then you're repurposing content. It's called user generated content when you're using content that your followers have put in. And when they see the reward of being featured, and obviously it's okay to feature them because they were submitted by these parents or by, these people, then that is going to give you more content to share. So I really like that idea.
And if you're going to do a weekly drawing, if you're doing a weekly prize winner, you could use that person's photo for the next week. You could say, congratulations to the Johnson family for winning last week's reading challenge. This week, we're challenging you to, and then you would have a picture. You could highlight that picture that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be, like you said, it doesn't have to be any prize, or it can be something really small. I mean, even if
Mhm.
you had some stickers that you could give away, anything, to gamify it and keep people engaged, I love that idea. So what else you got?
My other favorite one, I think, is the school spirit day. I mean, that works really well on a Friday, but you could do any day of the week, where you encourage people to wear their school swag out in the community and then send in pictures. And it could be one of those things like the reading challenge where you just do it on one day and you open up photo comments. Or it can be a feature throughout the summer where you ask families to send you photos of, their family or their student wearing school swag. And then you can schedule those out throughout the summer.
Yeah. We had a great blog from Erica Chandler where it was kind of like where in the world
Yep.
are the Afton kids, and so they, whether they're at the pool or maybe they're at the cabin, they can share some of their pictures, and it usually I think Claremore did it, lots of schools
Yep.
have done it.
Yep. I
They
think
don't.
it's important to make sure that it's not just what exotic places are you in,
Yes.
because then not everybody feels like they can participate. I
Yeah.
think it's really nice to be able to share, pictures from a little league game or, like you said, the local pool or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. That equity piece and just making
Hmm.
sure people don't feel left out. And you're getting pictures of like school swag. So that's always good branding, right? And
Yep.
so that's a great idea. Um, do you have one more example, or otherwise
Sure.
I
And I'm
can
not
jump?
sure it's on the list,
Okay.
but the people in your school who are going to get the most love always, who are they, Andrea? Your bus drivers,
Custodial crew.
custodial crew, and your food service team.
Yep.
And they're there during the summer. They're doing maintenance on your buses. They're doing work around the school building. They're getting the cafeteria, prepped for the new school year, stuff cleaned out. So even in the summer, you can give those groups some love, and they're going to do so well because everybody wants to give them love.
Yeah. So whether it's a picture, whether it's a short video and be like, hey, George, what are you up to today? Oh, today
Mhm.
we're waxing these floors, or we're, doing this. And then a lot of times it's just like, our school is so always so clean. Thank you for all you do. So I love those kind of behind the scenes
For
ones
sure.
too. Um, Let me just take a look at our list. I do love Throwback Thursdays. Some
Yeah.
of you have been listening for years and you're still not doing Throwback Thursdays. And I just want to urge you that that is a great post, especially over the summer. Pictures of old yearbooks,
Mhm.
being able to throw out some great school spirit, the old technology, old cars, or even some of the ads that used to be, in some of the old yearbooks can be really fun. Um, we talked a little bit about summer school, but also just want to encourage number 8 on our list is sports camps. So there's usually a lot of extracurriculars going on in the summer that are associated with your school and that you can celebrate. And sometimes maybe there's volunteers, parent volunteers, or things like that are involved. Don't be afraid to connect with some of those folks and just say, hey, send me a picture. of what's of your team or something, and you can put a real generic shout out. It's not like you have to say, hey, they won 3-2 or they lost 15-1 or whatever.
Yep.
It's just like, look at our kids being active. I think that one is really fun. And then of course, we've got new staff members coming on board, and those always do really well. So you could start inviting them in. I know sometimes, Melissa, we're from really small schools. So you guys, if we start introducing too early, sometimes staff is still like making decisions and they might go to a bigger school. So you don't want to start it too soon. But if you've got new staff to introduce, what a great way to welcome them in. They always get great engagement, and then it makes the new staff feel loved, right?
For sure. And that happens at the end of the summer. At the beginning of the summer, you could still be saying goodbye to your retirees.
Yes.
Retiree posts are like huge in the districts I manage. I mean, Hibbing retirement posts get 300 comments. I mean, people just giving all the love to these people who have, dedicated so many years to the kids. Not everybody wants to be featured, and that's okay if they don't want to. But I have never had a bad retirement feature post go up.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, not everybody
Those
wants
can
to
go
be
into
featured,
June.
but
Yeah.
most people do. So yeah, I totally agree. So these are all really good ideas. I just thought of a contest myself because we like contests.
Hmm.
So if you are listening live, which reminds me, I had a contest a few weeks ago. I gotta make sure I get those prizes out for that. But you guys grab the list of 25, and I want you to try at least one of these for your school, okay? And by the end of June, I need you to email me, Andrea at socialschoolforedu.com. Okay, you're going to email me and let me know which number on this list of 25 ideas that you tried, and you're going to give me some feedback of how it worked. Maybe a link to the post so I can check it out, okay? Somebody is going to win some Social School for EDU swag. So whether it is, you'll get some stickers and an awesome pen for sure. But whether you want a mug, whether you want a t-shirt, our awesome school paparazzi shirts. So if you're listening to this, this is about taking action. And you're probably even going to take one of these ideas and put a little twist on it and make it even better, which I really love. And then you might spot yourself in a tip on one of these podcasts, or we'll invite you on. Melissa, being on a podcast the first time was scary, but now it's not scary, is it?
Not so bad. It's my second time, I think.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
you're doing amazing because you're amazing at what you do, and we know we're surrounded by a lot of people that do great things. So that's my challenge to you guys as you're listening to this. By the end of June, try out one of these ideas, 1 to 25, and you're going to send me in an email, and then somebody's going to win some swag. As we wrap up, Melissa, what would you say is your best social media tip? And I don't know if it's your best tip for summer or if you just have an in general best social media tip for our listeners. What would it be?
I had to think of a new one because I used one last time we talked
Okay.
too. I think my one for today is admire and acquire.
And
Like we don't
tell me
need to
what that means.
we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are so many schools out there doing such great things. And I mean, social media is so trendy anyway. It's okay to do what other people are doing. I think it's really important to find some great schools to follow that are doing awesome things. I mean, my favorites, I had to think about who my favorites are. Texarkana ISD is super fun. Like their social media is just so fun. Claremore, I know we talk about Jamie at Claremore all the time, but especially during the summer, she does awesome things with user-generated content. And then Winona Area Public Schools in Minnesota. John does, I mean, his posts are so, he just injects the fun in them and it really keeps things social. So I think those are my favorite three to follow, especially for summer. I know they're going to keep things going and still have fun things happening. But checking out what other schools are doing and following those schools and then finding ways to make it work for you. Now, our membership group is all about admiring and acquiring and sharing inspiration. So, I mean, joining the membership group is awesome because then you have things like our work session checklists with links to great ideas, our Canva template directory where people are sharing either actual graphics so that you don't have to start all over when you want to try these things. But I think it's really important to look at what's working for other schools. You don't have to start from scratch every single time you want to try something.
Yeah. I love that. And boy, our friends at Texarkana, Claremore, and Winona are going to be excited. I agree. And you just shared recently, of course, we're recording this in April, but
Mhm.
the Texarkana, I think they were the ones that did use ChatGPT to roast a picture
Yes.
of their superintendent and their mascot, right?
Uh-huh. And it said roast this picture. Be nice, but roast this picture. And it was awesome. And the
Yeah.
comments, I don't know if you read through the comments, but people are like, whoever's running this social media page deserves a raise. Like, what a fun idea. Um,
Yeah.
so they got the engagement there. It wasn't just a post with like crickets, it was engagement coming back, which is awesome.
Yeah, so another little tip, and certainly that came up. You spotted it, and then you kind of highlighted it in our group, our membership group. But you could do that. It's a trend right now out there, and I've seen people doing it on their family pictures. But I feel like that's a little more vulnerable because you've got like
Sure.
teenagers that maybe don't really look like they want to be in the picture, and they're getting
Mhm.
roasted by AI, which is okay. So just real quick, if people are thinking about, okay, what is this membership group? It is an annual membership. We do trainings every week. We do special ones each month, like our skills session and all that stuff. But if somebody is like, okay, I am finally going to do it, I'm going to get set, signed up. What happens once they actually sign up? Can you just explain that?
Sure. So, I mean, I think the big thing to note at the beginning is you don't have to submit payment like the moment you sign up. So, if you know that you've got approval, but you haven't actually gotten the purchase order or the check written or the credit card number, that's okay. So, you fill out the form, it's super easy. And then once you've filled out the form and we get you set up inside the membership group with access, then I'll send out the invoice and you've got your 30 days to send the money in. So, don't let the payment process like spook you from signing up. Once you're inside, you have access to everything on demand. So we have our library of all of our past recordings that you'll have access to. We have our Canva template directory that you have access to. You have access to the group itself with all of the discussions and things like that. We do host a new member welcome a couple times each month, and so it's important to get to one of those because then I'll take an hour, 45 minutes, and really show you around the group and where to access everything. New this year, you also have access to 20 minutes with Andrea. So that's something that a lot of new members choose to take advantage of. So they can kind of have Andrea look at what they're doing on social media already and what we can change or what ideas they have moving forward. So those are great ways to kind of get your feet wet in the group. And then we just encourage you to join some live sessions, post a question in the group, answer a question in the group, and get involved that way.
Yeah. So when they sign up, about how long does it take for them to get access to everything?
20 within 24 hours.
Okay. So it's you don't have to pay before you get access to everything. You're
Nope.
actually getting access really quick.
Mhm.
Awesome. And we're always welcoming in folks. I know that, July 1st is usually your new fiscal year. Guys, just ask. The worst that your boss, superintendent, whatever can say is no. That's the worst. And the best is that even if that worst happens, the best is they know that you want to get better, that you want to, improve your social media presence. And we've had people get raises, we've had people move and get promotions, we've had, all of these things. And the best, I guess, is just saving time and really enjoying your job. And this group, for me, Melissa, this is like my secret, like power or secret superpower is this group because I can't know everything, but they have given me so many ideas. How about you?
I think all the members feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that all of them feel like this is the secret, like treasure trove of support and inspiration and ideas. Um, because, if one member is really great at AI, but they're not really great at relationships with staff, somebody else is going to have ideas for how they can improve those relationships and they'll get some tips from them on how to incorporate AI. No one is a pro at everything.
Yeah.
There's so many different hats that they're all wearing. So it's
And
nice to
and it's
pull those
always
powers together.
yeah, and social media is always changing. So you can't
Mhm.
just say I've arrived and be like, I'm good. No. So again, it's only $795 for a whole year for up to three
For
people
three
from your
people.
Yeah, three people get
Hmm.
access to the whole group for that amount. So try us out. Like we want Melissa and I are there in that group every day, like communicating back and forth. But the best thing is there's over 450 school districts across the world. Really, we're gonna have a new
Yep.
one of our new members is from Africa.
Africa. We've
He's
got
gonna be on
Canada,
the
we've got
podcast.
Africa.
Oh,
Yep.
nice. I'm so excited. We've had Hungary before. Of course, we've got friends from Canada. And so, anyways, we're here for you. But we're also here with all this free stuff. And there's another free PDF, the 25 ideas for school social media posts over the summer. Try one idea, send it in by the end of June. And by the way, we do these contests every month in our membership group. So that's super fun too. But
I
thanks so
think
much. Go
we
ahead,
should
Melissa.
also link, Andrea, in the show notes to
Yes.
the 100 ideas and the 50 more ideas because those have sections for summer as well.
Okay. We will do that too. And we'll definitely get you our new list. Um, so fun. I'm so excited to see all of the great stories that you guys celebrate over this summer. If something ends up going up gangbusters, make sure you tell us. Um, something flops, you can let us know that too, right? Everything doesn't work for every district or every community, but we sure know that your school wants to stay connected to the great things happening at your school. So, any last little bit? I love your tip though. Admire and acquire. Find some of those schools that you can follow, and don't be afraid to use those ideas at your school.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, I think that's what social media is all about, especially today, right? With all of the trends and the reels and things and everyone copying everybody else. Like it's okay. Maybe don't copy the district right next door to you,
Right.
but if you're following a school in a different state or a different area, it's all fair game.
Yeah, exactly. We want you to shine bright. And I'm sure other people will be flattered that you kind of took their idea. And guess what? Their idea probably was admired and acquired by from somebody else.
Hmm.
And also don't be afraid to look at some other industries, right? Definitely higher ed is doing some fun things, but there might be some brands that are doing some fun things. How can you incorporate those with schools, with school content? So, thank you so much, Melissa, for
You
hanging
are
out
welcome.
with me. You guys will be back again next week with another fabulous guest and episode. Just keep telling those stories. Bye, Melissa.
Bye-bye.